What's up, guys? Welcome to another vlog. I'm stoked about this one, all right? This one, I'm heading back to the field. When I first started Powerline Podcast back in 2019, the reason I started it was I had been in management for a couple years and I felt like I was losing this connection with my brothers and sisters in the field. So I decided to start Powerline Podcast to get that reconnection. Fast forward to now, I have this big, beautiful studio in Houston, Texas, and I love the studio, but I started to feel like I was kind of like losing that connection again with the field. So I'm taking myself out of the studio and we're going to the SunZia project in Arizona and New Mexico to record some episodes with linemen, superintendents, construction managers, a few different people like that from the actual project on site. So let's go.
That actually, you probably get some sweet cactus pictures.
That's what I want.
We should stop at a cactus.
I think there will be many.
I recently hosted a discussion about the importance of the foreman in our organizations. In my discussion, talking about who the foreman is, I related the foreman to a quarterback on a football team. The quarterback on the football team has 2 feet on the field. They got the full attention of the people on the field, their crew, and they also have an ear and attention of coaching staff, management, that sort of thing. So to me, the foreman is like the quarterback. Nothing happens on the field without going through that quarterback. Same as the job, same as the line trade, nothing happens in the field without gaining the trust, respect of the leadership on the field. And to me, that's the foreman. My first interview was with Bryce Hubard. Bryce is a foreman lineman working for Summit. Actually, Bryce's 3rd time on the show, so was really excited to get his take about this project. He's been on it for a little while now. Yeah, so let's get into it. They know it's not right for them. It's not really what they want to do.
What kind of angst comes with carrying that student loan debt on something that you didn't even want to do in the first place?
When deep down inside, the only opportunity that exists is to go to college or university.
The stuff that Quanta and these guys have been able to do on this project, I think is going to be somewhat revolutionary for the way work gets done in Arizona.
Which is very promising for somebody from Arizona, for linemen.
For linemen, more opportunity. I think the more teams that we have to play on, the better off we are. There's always something that's good about a little bit of healthy competition, you know?
Oh, absolutely. The foremen are the frontline decision makers on everything. The buck stops here.
I wish my crew was here to answer that. I'm sure they'd have smart ass shit to say, but showing up for your guys, get the work laid out to the best of your ability, try to take all the guesswork out of it.
We need leaders. When they think leadership, that you automatically got to be in some leadership role. Everybody should be in leadership.
If you fail, the message that sends is that you're not being truthful. And at the end of the day, we have to be able to trust each other.
Where? Oh, rail there.
You see that crown on that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often.
That crown thing, does it happen? Can I get out? Yeah, we're gonna pause for a sec. I want to take a photo, Dex. We got a 1 in a million cactus, Josh. Where's your film camera? You can grab it. Dex, when are you gonna be back in the San Pedro Valley? One of the things you're definitely not gonna see sitting in the studio is a 1 in a million crested head cactus, whatever they called this thing. But what's really neat is just when you get out and you get into the field, you get to experience different things like this that you never would by staying in the building. So always encourage everybody to get out of the building, get out into the field, and go talk to these people firsthand, and you're gonna end up with amazing experiences coming out of it. So you get this?
I can get it if you Shawn. Somebody getting a gate. It's a simple chain. I wanted to come up to a cowboy gate and see it.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Don't worry. Bryce just told us about these cactuses, how he's like, don't get close to them. I think they're choyos or something like that. Anyway, don't get close to them because they almost like jump out and jump on you. Well, Max gets out of the car to get this gate or help me with the gate. And what does he do? He gets one of these on his hand. Got that gate, Max. Got the shit out of that gate. Look at that. I still do work. You get me clipping that gate.
For all the haters out
for all... Nobody gets a gate better than me.
Damn it, I got one.
Bro. Is this thing rolling still? It was kind of funny. Felt bad for Max, but hey, it's part of the job. Damn, dude.
Oh, yeah. Here, hold on.
Yeah, what's the strategy here?
It's not focusing.
Here. This is gonna hurt a whole lot.
You rolling on this?
Can you straighten your hand? Okay. No, do not touch it. Okay, hold still. Okay, it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, okay? 1, 2. Hold still. If we can get, I have some pliers to pull them out. Okay. See what I was saying, Ryan? How that just sticks in there like porcupine quills? Yeah.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
Welcome to Arizona. Yeah.
One of the best parts about actually getting out of the studio and coming out to the line and to the right of way is I can bring you guys along, I can bring the viewer along out to the right of way. Because there's a lot of people that watch this that, you know, are part of supporting these crews, so part of supporting these jobs that will never get to see what the actual right of way looks like or what the transmission line looks like. So this way I can actually get out, I can pull a foreman directly from the field for an hour or two. I can talk to them about the things they're actually dealing with today out on the line, and you even get to see it all visually as well. Like, look at this. This is the SunZia project. This power line is the power line that each one of you have been a part of supporting and building. And again, I just think it's so special. It adds something special when you can actually get out to the project and get here and actually see what's going on and see what you're a part of building in the background. Arizona is absolutely beautiful. The cactuses, the landscape, the little mountain, like it's such epic scenery. It always amazes me where I find myself sometimes with this job, with this trade. It's super cool. I know we'll throw up some visuals here so you can see what the landscape look like, see what this part of the SunZia project, the Arizona side section of the SunZia project looked like. But it's just absolutely epic and beautiful. What a place to work. When it comes to podcasting, I constantly want to push the boundaries of podcasting. Studios are awesome and they work for a lot of people, but it's becoming so norm and so everyday. I want to take the podcast mindset and the podcast and move it to other places. I don't know, present it different visually. So I came up with this idea. I actually saw Jerry Seinfeld and took it from him. Jerry Seinfeld has this show called Comedians in Cars with Coffee or something like that. And anyway, he would drive around with these comedians in his car and they shot it with just a bunch of GoPros in the car. So I thought, why don't we take Powerline Podcast and put it in a site truck, a right-of-way truck, and drive down the right-of-way talking to foreman linemen while we drive down an actual right-of-way on an actual job. So that's what we did. And you can see here, we had this fully gyroscopic camera on this mount that was called a Hydra Alien or something. We mounted that on the front of the truck and it was fully stabilized and it just worked out perfect. It gave this real cinematic look and feel to the production. I geek out about this stuff because I love photography, cinematography, and that sort of thing. So to be able to take that and present a podcast for linemen about line work in a cinematic way is something really cool that I never thought I'd be doing. And I love bringing it to you guys. So like, I hope you love the production. My next interview is with Shawn Scribner. Shawn is a lineman, but now is the construction manager for the SunZia project.
The safety in this company, that's the culture within Quanta, is by far, hands down, the best in the industry.
What makes that the way it is?
I think it's just the message they get across to everybody that, and the backing of the leaders above.
Your progression from lineman to construction manager, how does this happen? How do I become anything other than a general foreman?
Invest into the company, like reach out. I called up our district manager and he said, hey, we just landed that 230 job. And I was like, heck yeah. I was like, I want that. Give me that opportunity. Give me a shot at it. And if you don't like it, you can fire me.
Being forefront, being humble, saying, look, I could do this better.
It took me a while to humble myself to going, hey, dude, you need to also get constructive criticism because you got to learn what you did wrong. And you also need to sit back and look back at yourself and go, I know I didn't do this right.
So for those foremen that are wanting to progress further and they're at that foreman level right now, because that's probably the level listening to the show, they can invest in the company a little bit more, show more interest in wanting to be, a company guy.
But then there's guys probably a lot like me or a lot like others that want to progress farther up the chain. And yeah, if you want to take that kind of path, yeah, speak up. Say, hey, I'd like to shot at the next project as a general foreman.
All right, we're wrapped here in Phoenix. Let's head to New Mexico. This is Carissa and Chris, site superintendent and civil superintendent for Blattner on this project.
Feast or famine, so you have to make a decision. Once I got started in it, I was like, well, this isn't so bad. I can handle this. And
you should be okay being alone, being in isolation, to be, working on projects like this.
so isolation doesn't bother her, it doesn't bother me. Kind of grew up in it, that's what we know.
Being alone or just feeling not necessarily by yourself because you have coworkers, but very kind of cut off from the rest of the world.
We are coworkers, but a lot of the time we're friends outside of that. And you'll see there's a lot of people that travel with their families too.
My foremans are the next generation of me. They'll be taking my spot. So I take every opportunity I get with a foreman is to teach them what I know.
I love what you're saying about bringing the foreman in, see how you do things. A lot of that doesn't happen, I think.
Having that open door policy and being willing to collaborate with people. The best leaders that I've worked with had that approach, and also you were comfortable with them. You can tell them what you felt when you had questions.
Working together is way better than that one-way highway, and that happens a lot here.
Is there opportunity here for young people to come in and what are the opportunities?
As many people as on this planet, we have to use every resource we can. There's tons of opportunities. I mean, this can't stop.
Now that we're wrapped with Chris and Carissa, Chris is going to take me out to an active work site. And this is the other cool thing about getting out into the field. You can actually see some of the work that's getting done.
It's crazy to think that we're going from New Mexico to Arizona, just all the work in between. I'm like so isolated to what I have right here, and I think this is massive. Like for those guys that are like hopping town to town or whatever that looks like to get all the way over there,
Well, to think like I was on one section of it yesterday, and then I had to get on an airplane, fly an hour, and I'm still on the same project.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
And then, I drove 2 hours, and I'm gonna drive 2 more hours, and I'm still on the same project. It's big scale stuff, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I hadn't even really thought about that. But yeah, you had to get on a plane to get here.
Yeah. And I was somewhere in the middle of the project. I wasn't even at the end.
Yeah, we're so siloed to this that it's crazy that I don't know anybody on the other end of this or know how they're doing or their progress or anything like that.
They're doing good.
Yeah,
good progress. They're super stoked too. Their portion of it's going really well. The project I got to see Blattner building was the base of one of these turbines. And I didn't know a lot about this. I come from the power side of things, but seeing this operation was amazing. The scale of it was massive, and it almost takes a small village to build this thing. Super cool to see in person, and I learned a lot while I was out there. But man, was it dusty.
This is base. Does it go any deeper than this?
No.
Yeah.
So
Do they have to do any compaction or anything underneath?
they will once they pour it basically up to, they'll pour the base and
Yeah.
they'll pour the pedestal, which is around the bolt. Then Chris's guys will come back in after it needs strength or gets nearing strength, and they'll come and backfill all this material, and we'll do compaction testing then.
Cool. But yeah, everything underneath has been tested as well.
Yeah, they got that. Do you know how much steel and concrete goes into this?
1,000,000 pounds of rebar sitting there.
1,000,000 pounds of rebar.
And I think it's what, 435 yards of concrete
No
for
one.
just the base, and then the pedestal is like another 36, 40.
Damn.
Final leg of the tour, we jump back in the mobile studio and headed another 2 hours to see Josh and Gabe. Okay, you come all the way to New Mexico just to find a fellow Canadian. This is Josh, and this was such a good episode. Josh is from the East Coast of Canada, now a lineman foreman on this project here in New Mexico.
100%. With proper planning, the communication rolls easy. We plan things here that well, to be honest. Like, we have a meeting in the morning with 10 minutes with a couple of the foremen. We have 54 guys on site. Everyone knows where they're going, what they're doing the night before. Makes it simple, right?
So you can really boil communication to proper planning.
Everyone follows the guy who's in charge. If the leader is half-assed at his job, doesn't take it serious, lets things go, doesn't go over the tailboard, etc., the guys also don't care. You have a role to do. The foreman's job is make sure that everyone's safe, number one, first thing every day. But also make sure the job is done on time, on budget. The most important role on the job.
How important is it to have quality leaders under you?
When they see the leader working the hardest, to be honest, they want to follow that. They have nothing bad to say. When they're like, our foreman is out there in the rain right now.
Leading by example.
100%. He's not over in the truck being like, hey, we got to do this. He's the one out there.
So that's where you kind of like cut your teeth, right? Line works for me. I mean,
No.
Okay.
Was not sold on it. No, that's a lie. I was like, man, did I pick the right trade? To be honest, it was the moment of when I got with like a good group of guys, eager to learn.
The guys made
the difference for me, yeah. The crew itself, yeah.
It's good to hear.
Well, from what we've known so far, it's the biggest project Quanta has ever done. You said a renewable energy project in the world, which is pretty impressive to be a part of, especially as Canadians getting to come down this far and work on such a large project. I also think it's pretty unique how we have so many operating units working on the same job to complete the same task.
Yeah.
Which I think is super cool.
You got your wind guys, you got civil guys, you got line guys, you got helicopter aviation units out here. Like, it's very neat to have, to be able to do it, like A to Z. Like,
To be able to accomplish a project that size.
and every aspect of it.
Yeah.
Okay, my faith in humanity is restored. This is Gabe. He's 23 years old, and he's definitely one of the youngest foreman linemen I've ever met, never mind interviewed. This is a great episode.
It's always a struggle for leadership to get into the field because they're dealing with stuff.
I do feel that there is a disconnect between the foreman of the field and then above that.
It's not like they're not doing anything as much as, some people might think that. Yeah, because they're busy.
Maybe if it was just once a month or once every couple of weeks of being able to get together with the people in the office who are kind of pushing along this project. They're never in the field and we're never in the office. We all have our parts to play. Kind of bridging that gap, I think, would be helpful.
Another thing I hear quite a bit is can't find work. I get out and I can't find work. How did you find that?
I ended up getting a job 2 weeks out of school. I found a small utility that was just starting up in Boise. So I kind of got lucky with them, but I was reaching out to tons of people. And I think the work's out there. It's just guys going in, you got to be prepared to uplift everything and go on the road and find it.
People my age need to know about people your age. How should we approach you?
Being that stern hard ass all the time, I see it a lot of they just shut down. That was something that kind of opened my eyes. A lot of guys just deflect it, you know, and like close up.
I like to use this as a way to help communicate because I know they listen to it.
Yeah.
And I know, you guys listen to it.
For sure. You were a lineman too.
Yeah,
You went
yeah.
through and
Yeah.
how did you work for?
I started in 2000. My dad was a lineman, owned a small power line company in central BC, Canada. That's where I started right out of high school as well, 6 months out of high school. And then in 2009, so I topped out in 2004. In 2009, my dad's company was acquired by Alltech, which is a Quanta company, and that's when I became a Quanta guy.
Okay, nice.
So I kept working on the tools till 2015, 2016, around there, and just checking all the boxes of all the cool shit I wanted to do, just like you. Just looking at helicopters check, transmission check, travel check, energized work, rear end work check. And then kind of family stuff took me into the office, the management. I needed to get out of the field, so I went into some management, stayed kind of put in one area. And yeah, that's kind of when I started the podcast here in 2019.
Heck yeah.
And then I did some instructing. I left Alltech and went and did some instructing at the Lazy Q for a couple years. And then Reggie actually Reggie Probst DM'd me on Instagram one day and was just like, hey, how about we talk about how you just come do this full time for us? So that's what got me off tools.
Heck yeah.
There is really only one organization that can tackle a project of this scale, and that's Quanta Services. Say whatever you want. It's just amazing to see. I think there's something like 32 different operating units coming together to build this project across 2 states. You got everything from renewables, building the wind turbines, and you've got helicopters flying, you've got line workers, and everything in between to bring this project together. And it's all under one umbrella, all under one organization, and that's Quanta. I don't think people quite understand how amazing it actually is to see this in motion and work. It's pretty cool. All right, well, that's a wrap on Arizona, New Mexico, the SunZia project. It was 5 interviews, 6 people over 2 days. Amazing experience. I had a blast with these guys. We had such a great crew. I hope you guys like the production. I'm definitely gonna do more of it. I need to do more of this because it's important to get out into the field. It was just such a different look and feel to it. I loved it, I enjoyed it. I hope you guys too. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.